the game. So, Jem, I mean, let's just talk about the game overall. I mean, this is a game that, if we're serious about being top four and better, we should have just put to bed. We didn't.
Definitely. I mean, having said we absolutely should have won, but only because of the circumstances of the game where they, went down to 10 men in like the 35th minute or something like that. So yeah, we should have absolutely won this. Having said that, Southampton came off a good result against West Ham and were high on confidence and played really well. They think they were the better team for the, until we scored, they were definitely the better team. We were having a hard time getting into it, getting up to speed, and they were feeling confident and played well, played like they were playing confidently. But then the sending off happened. Foolish sending off. I was actually, I texted you saying I was disappointed they're going to ruin a good match here because I thought it was a very entertaining match of football. But then I was surprised we didn't take that and just blow them away. I don't know how they came away with a point after that. That's got to feel like a win for them.
But Jam, I must just stop you there because one of the things that I've noticed, last 3 games we've been playing against 10 men. We even had last 15 minutes or 20 minutes against Liverpool with 10. We got nothing. We played with Palace with about more or less the same time against 10, and we scored 1 goal. Before that, we really scored 2. I mean, this sending basically was the penalty, so it really didn't count. We were playing against 11 in effect. And then once the sending off went off, we didn't take advantage of it. We seem to play better against 11. I mean, you'd have thought that when we're playing against 10, we should be blowing teams away, but it doesn't seem to be the case in the last 3 games.
Well, when they're playing with 10 men, they all get like more compact, right? So everyone's playing for each other and there's no attacks coming. So at least when we're playing against 11 men, the opposition still thinks they can score. So they're going to be a lot more open. They're going to keep 2 men up front and there's going to be a lot more space.
Both teams, I mean, Palace attacked us at 10. Liverpool, I couldn't even tell we were against. And then I think back to when Tanganga got sent off against Crystal Palace and we just collapsed completely and lost, 3-0 when Nuno was in charge. So clearly Spurs can't play with 10 men, nor can we play against people when they're on 10 men. It's just one of these, again, Spursy type quirk, which really is so frustrating. Because what I'll put to you is, do you think Chelsea, Man United, City wouldn't have destroyed Southampton when they went down to 10?
Yeah, absolutely, they would have. We're not there though. It's a disappointing result. Conte's disappointed, and I mean, I thought
that Conte was very upset right from the beginning of the game. I mean, the way that the low energy. He said, "Where the team is over emotional, the players are over emotional. They invite teams to attack still, and it wasn't until we went behind that we actually realized that we were in a football game. I think that they're beginning to believe their own hype. I think they're beginning to believe that just because Conte, that's good enough, but the players actually have to play. So what I want to say, Jam, I know we could talk about the game and everything else, but would you just say that this team is just not good enough for top 4, even though we've got the best coach in the world?
I think if we get top 4, we're definitely going to be, it's going to be all Conte's mastermind, and we're going to rely on teams stepping up. Because, we're not catching up to the 3 top teams, Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. We're just not going to do that. So it really comes down to Arsenal and the other teams around us, like West Ham. So it's I don't think this team is good enough. No, I don't think a lot of the players are. But we've known this for 3 managers now. There's a lot that needs to be changed, and I'm excited that January is coming up.
Good. And having seen Dele play now, Jam, you mentioned him earlier, had a bit of a pretty good game against Liverpool. Having said that, he should have scored and he should have won us that game, but he didn't. He missed a one-on-one sitter with Alisson. And he didn't play against Palace, but he did play today. I thought he was awful today. Absolutely awful. I mean, talk about a Jekyll and Hyde. What do you after this performance?
So I think emotional is a good term because, we're all emotional about Dele Alli because we've seen what he can do at his very best. And I was looking at his stats earlier today from when he was, younger than 22, the quickest player to reach 50 goals in the Premier League. And his stats are incredible. They're up there with some of the best players that have ever played in the league. 22 years old at least. Then after that, his stats after that are pretty sad. And it's because of that emotion we have towards him back then that we want him to do well at Tottenham, but I think he needs to go. I think for him, for us all, he needs to move on. We can't be hanging on to him forever, and he's just not going to do it. He's not going to provide constantly week in, week out like he used to.
Yeah, I agree. And then, we've got other conundrums, haven't we? I mean, we had 2 great games, got injured again, no surprise. Absolutely ridiculous. The guy cannot stay fit at all. I mean, great potential, great everything else, but cannot stay fit. Is there a serious problem going on there?
I don't know. Yeah,
Lo Celso can't even stay fit for a full practice, let alone for a game.
I think Lo Celso's done. I don't think he's going to get. He has to go in January. There's a lot of players that haven't played that need to go. But I don't want to talk about players that didn't play. I think
just quickly, it'd be interesting. I want to know from you, because Bergwijn didn't play. Bergwijn was even in the squad. And Dembele didn't even get a. Conte's made up his mind about those three players. Bergwijn now?
I think so. I think if they do get a chance, it's because we couldn't offload them, and they'll have to play in February at some point. But other than that, I think I'm just really hoping that some smart recruitments happen and some good departures go too. There's a lot of them, and most of the ones that
know players that didn't play. Let's talk about the players that did play then. Who was your favourite today?
I thought Lucas Moura came on and was always exciting. I think there's a reason he got rested, because he brings the energy. I think Son didn't play well enough.
I thought Winks had a pretty good game over
the opposite of Dele, because I was like, Winks needs to go. But I think he has a future at the club still. I think he can provide something different. Passing was really good. I think I'd like to see Skip and Winks play a lot more, because Højbjerg has been kind of like a conundrum to me. I think he's been carried by Skip a lot this season. He's made to look better when Skip's beside him than when he has to do the role that Skip does. He doesn't do it as well as Skip.
No, very, very good point. What about Sanchez, most improved player?
Sanchez, I love him. I love Sanchez. I think if he can keep up this level of concentration, is not even his performance, because I've known he's always been able to defend well, but he can't concentrate. And I think if he can become mature as a player, he's an excellent defender. I think having Romero back would be nice, but then again, I think Davis has been performing well. I don't think our defensive woes we had before Conte are pretty much.
Was that unstoppable in your?
I think it was really nice. It was but it was just beautifully done. You gotta sometimes just take a step back and applaud the shot. But I think the ball getting toward press in the first place could have been avoided.
Yeah.
These things happen. These things are going to happen. The shot was really.
Do you think Kane was offside?
No,
no. Too ridiculous a decision.
I don't think he was. It was.
What was he offside by? About half an inch? I thought
he was not.
I thought those decisions would be given.
You can't be like, maybe it was a little bit this and that. He just wasn't offside.
Yeah, I thought it was outrageous. So the game was stolen in a way from us, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But we never took our chances, Jam. He shot straight at Forster, who is he's a big keeper.
So many of them.
He's an intimidating keeper. You look at him and you think, how am I going to get past him? But clearly we found it very difficult today.
I think Son was poor. I think they could have taken a lot more chances. But I also think just Southampton really dug in. They're on their up, and I hope they can stay. Yeah, it was literally 45 minutes of. And
then later on, Jam, we could have lost the game.
Yeah,
Dyer made a stupid mistake. If Sanchez hadn't come back and made that interception, I really
thought we were going to lose. I had my hand in my head, and just was. I given up hope at that point. But no, we're a different Tottenham now. We're not as.
Okay, so here you are. You've taken this team. Do you think he's taken them as far as he can? Because not winning that is I can take team not winning that game when they got 60 or 55 minutes.
I'm sure they're gonna, for the next week and a half, they're just going to be constantly berated by him for this performance. This is going to be a loss to him,
Absolutely, he looked like he'd lost. He was absolutely not amused by that game at all. Or by that
and I think, man, I love Conte. I love Conte so much. The last 7 matches that he's been here compared to the 7 matches before he was here, it's like, how can you change that much? How can you change these players that much? How can you change the mentality that much in that small of a time? So I think we can still get top 4. I think losing this point isn't as big a deal in the big picture, because we're not going for the, if we're fighting for the Premier League, that's a big 2 points we've lost.
We're very close to signing Kessie.
That would be wonderful.
He'd be Dahovic has said he doesn't want to go to Arsenal. He wants to play for Conte. And they say he wants to play for Tottenham, but let's face it, who does he want? Why do you want
if we can get Kessie, maybe Skriniar, if we can dream, I don't think we need a defender until the summer, and that would be nice. We'll upgrade on someone. But
get Romero fit.
Yes, Romero fit, and then maybe Dyer and a third elite centre back.
Yeah, and we can get rid of those three players to go for me: in Ndombele, Bergwijn, and Lo Celso. Is it because before it was?
We would Ndombele, Lo Celso, easy.
Who will take 6? Who will take?
Go to freaking Swansea for all I care.
Nobody. Right, just very quick recap then. I think it was a very sad performance for a fan, but it's good to know that we all expect to win, and we now, thanks to Conte, taking draws as losses.
Yeah, correct? Absolutely. That is the mentality. That is the shift. That is what he's telling us in his post-match analysis of the match, and Eric Dyer saying the same thing, and it's just good to see. It has to start everywhere. It has to be, every single player has to feel disappointed and feel like they lost that match.
So basically, just to finish off this talk about this, is we want to see Conte bring in some players. Will he be backed? Will he must be by now know that he's got who he wants to get rid of and who he wants to bring in. You've got the Italian connection. Clearly, the players that we're looking at are all from the Italian league. I may not be Italian, but they play in the Serie A. So the players that Conte must be familiar with. And it's exciting times ahead. What if they get Insigne? Is it Lorenzo Insigne that they're also thinking about? Would you like to see him?
I'd rather have Kessie. I think there's other players. All three would be good. I'd take all three. You know, I think, like I said, I think Højbjerg's our weakest centre mid at the moment in current form.
Weaker than Winks?
No, weaker. Of our actual selectable centre mids.
No, well, I mean between Winks, Skip, and Højbjerg, pick two. Who would you put on Tino?
Right now, I would start Skip and Winks.
Right. So Winks we're keeping. Dele we're getting rid of. Great, Jam. Just one final comment on the Crystal Palace game. I mean, again, Zaha stupid, but we were already 2-0 up, weren't we? We were cruising anyway. Yeah. I mean, we scored one more goal. What worries me is that was these two games, this one today, and the Southampton, and the Crystal Palace game, were a chance to get our goal differences up, because it looks like it's going to be really tight. And we've got an awful goal difference of only 2. And if we need to start learning to score again, I know Kane has now scored in the last 3 games, but it's still not enough, is it? And we really need to start seeing with some more goals from midfield. I know Morris trying to come along, but we need to, these games we should be putting to bed pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Son and Kane really, even though they have started scoring again, haven't really gotten firing. I don't think they're out there playing the best they can be yet.
Great. Okay, Jam. Prediction for the next game. We've got Watford away. We've got to win that.
I mean, we got to win that. We have to win that. Keep on winning another 3 points. Well, not 3 points.
We then got Arsenal away on the 16th in the league. You and me are going to be there in a Premier box, I hope. So we look forward to that very much. We're going to win that. And we've got Chelsea away. And then we've got, I think, Manchester City away. So it's going to be a pretty tough run-in for now. And not taking points today, may stick pretty deeply in our throat. What do you think?
Yes, but I'm also really excited. I would be anxious typically about coming up against the big clubs that we have coming up, but I'm excited. I can't wait to see us play, football, going out there to actually beat Chelsea, to actually beat Man City. It's going to be nice. We're going to beat Arsenal because, of course, we're going to beat Arsenal. I hope.
So just to finally say, please click subscribe and do whatever you need to do, but please do watch. This is Spurs 9501, Kam in Florida.
Jam in Connecticut.
Come on, you Spurs.